Hello everyone, how are you all? Welcome to this chess world and I hope you are doing well. Today we will going to see an interesting match between former world chess champion Viswanathan Anand and Grandmaster Sergey Karjakin. The play of Monster Knight and win with the black pieces. So before going to it, don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit that bell icon. Now you have done that, let's go for it. So Grandmaster Sergey Karjakin has white pieces here and Grandmaster Viswanathan Anand has a black pieces. Karjakin opened with a d4 and knight to f6, Indian game played by Viswanathan Anand. Here c4 and e6. After that knight to f3 and d5 was played. And here Karjakin goes for knight to c3. But can you capture this pawn over here? If you captures here, then definitely next move is e4 and your pawn is definitely going to fall. You cannot protect it with this b5 move because knight will capture over here. So definitely after knight to c3, bishop to e4 was played. Now Anand is ready to castle over here. So bishop to f4, developing the bishop, and after that black castles. e3 and c5. Here Karjakin has an option either to capture this d5 pawn or this c5 pawn. Here Karjakin goes for d captures on c5 and bishop captures on c5. Queen to c2, developing the queen. Queen has a really good activity over this h7 pawn, which is a weak pawn for black. And here knight to c6 was played. After that a3 and stopping this future move for this knight or this bishop to go for this b4 square. So here queen to a5 was played. And now definitely we can think that to push this pawn on b4, but can we? Here bishop will definitely capture this pawn, and now you can see you cannot capture the bishop. If you captures the bishop over here, then definitely queen captures the rook with the check, which is disastrous move, and of course black is completely winning over here because this pawn is also hanging and you just have to defend with the knight. And after this move, if you want to secure your rook, still your second pawn is falling. So of course this b4 move is a really bad move. So instead of that, Karjakin goes for long side castling, and here knight to e4 was played. Now this knight is really annoying because it is covering this important square for white, and of course anyone don't want to have it. But if knight captures here knight, then pawn captures here attacking on this knight. This knight can't go for this d4 square. If it goes, then next move that is e5 is definitely disastrous, losing one piece. So this knight just have to go for this d2 square and attacking on this pawn. Instead of that, here Karjakin played an interesting move, that is knight to b5. This knight is going for this c7 square now with the support of this bishop. So here a6 was played, attacking on the knight. Knight goes for knight to c7, attacking on this rook now. And here Anand plays a really interesting move, that is e5. Now problem is your bishop is hanging, also your knight is hanging. But this knight has an option. If knight captures the rook over here, but here pawn captures the bishop, of course you will capture the pawn and bishop goes for this f5 square, your knight is going to fall. Escape route is not possible because both the square for knight, that is b6 and c7, are covered by the queen. So of course losing two pieces for a rook is not a good option. So here I recommend you to go ahead, pause the video and find the best move for white to equalize the exchange. So if you find it, then that is great. Here engine is recommending this move, knight captures on this d5. Now your knight is hanging. If you capture the bishop, then queen captures the knight. If you capture the pawn, then of course pawn captures over here, and it is okay condition for white. Also Karjakin played another interesting move, that is rook captures on d5. Now the problem is this bishop is pinned. Of course it moves, then rook captures the queen. And Anand has a choices to go for, either to capture the knight over here or either to capture this bishop. So Anand goes for e captures on f4 and queen captures on e4. And still, if you capture the knight over here, then rook captures the bishop. Anand go for it, queen takes on c4 and rook captures on c5. Now this knight is pinned, and of course it will move, then rook will capture the queen. So f takes on e5 first, and here bishop to d3, and here pawn can take, but queen captures on this h7 is going to checkmate. So don't fall for such a trick. It is for beginner, including me also. Anyway, here of course Anand goes for e6 and f captures on e3. After that, bishop to e6 was played, developing the bishop, and these two rooks are connected now. Here queen to h4 was played, now going for this h7 pawn. After this, knight to g5. Here rook a to e8 and bishop to e4 was played. Now if going for this move immediately, that is knight to g5, then f6 is disastrous, because your knight is under attack, queen is protecting this h7 pawn. So instead of going for that, bishop to e4 was played, and after that queen to b6. Now this queen is attacking over this unprotected rook, but instead of protecting it, here Karjakin goes for queen to h6. But can you capture this rook? Of course no. If you capture C over here, then this move knight to g5 is doing everything. To stop this checkmate, you just have to capture this knight. Of course queen can capture this pawn, king just have to move and capture this knight. Queen captures the queen, and white has a good position over here, so you cannot capture the rook. After that, f5 was played, attacking on the bishop. Here knight to g5 was played. You cannot capture this bishop, otherwise there is a checkmate. So here rook f to e7 was played, sacrificing the rook. Also there is one move, that is this rook to e7 is possible, but is it a good move? No, because knight captures the bishop over here. You just have to capture this knight and bishop to d5, and this rook is pinned. Of course queen captures the rook, bishop captures the rook over here with a check. King just have to move. This king is cornered now, and black just have to go for the king safety. Next move will be this rook to d1. This rook is going for this d7 square, attacking on this h7 pawn, or either here you can just push this pawn on b4. By pushing this, there is an attack on the queen. So of course that move is not a good move. So here rook to f7 was played, sacrificing the rook over here, but instead of capturing it, bishop to d5 was played. Now the problem is this bishop is under attack by this d5 bishop and the knight. So of course you just have to capture bishop. Bishop captures on d5 and rook captures on d5. This rook is now under protection with this pawn. So here queen captures on e3 with a check, king to b1 and rook f to e7, saving this rook, and this rook is now controlling this h7 pawn. Now in this position, Anand is planning to go for this b3, and after that rook is going for this e1, and of course you can capture with this rook, but still there is a second rook which will done the match for black. To stop it, rook h to d1 was played, and after that queen to e2. h4 was played, and this is the first incorrect move played by Karjakin. Now there is a problem. Here Anand plays an excellent move, that is knight to e5. Now this knight is a monster knight. You can see if here any wrong move like g3 is going to be bad for white. After that, knight captures on c4 and queen to b2 with a checkmate move is coming. And to stop it, you just have to sacrifice the rook. Rook 5 to d2 and knight captures the rook over here. You just have to capture the knight. After that, queen captures here. So on this position, black is completely winning because your queen is tucked. Next move will be this e1. Definitely that is a bad one. And if you go for this pawn safety, then definitely this knight to g4 attacking on the queen. Queen is hanging. You cannot save that queen. If you go for queen safety, if you capture that knight, then queen captures here with a check. King just have to move, and queen captures the second rook, and black is still winning. So that is why this knight to e5 is a monster knight. This knight is really strong. But Karjakin goes for a nice move, that is knight to f3. Now this pawn is hanging, knight can capture this pawn, but still this knight is protecting this important d2 square, and queen can escape. So after that, queen to e4 was played with a check, and king to a2. Queen captures on c4 with a tempo, and king moves for king to a1, avoiding any checks. After that, knight to g4 was played, attacking on the queen and forcing this queen to go for this c1 square. So queen to c1 was played. After that, queen captures on c1, rook captures on c1, and king to g7 was played. This is a playable game. White can go for a draw position if he play best moves. But the problem is Karjakin played another blunder move, that is h5. And why this is a blundered move? Because after that, knight to f6 was played, and your rook is hanging. Of course, this pawn will going to be captured. So you just have to move the rook. Knight captures the pawn over here, losing the second pawn. And of course, facing this position against the former world chess champion is not going to be easy. So on this knight to f6 move, Karjakin resigns the game. An excellent move played by Grandmaster Viswanathan Anand. This knight done a great job. So after winning this game, Anand is stand for 4.5 points, and there is a game between Wesley So and Caruana. Caruana win this game and win this tournament. So next video will be definitely Caruana versus Wesley So. So stay tuned for that. I hope you like this video. If yes, then go ahead, hit that like button and share this with your friends. Also, if you watch this video until here, then I recommend you to go ahead and subscribe the channel. For that, hit that red circle. Also, you can watch my previous videos over here. You can join me on Facebook, Google+, Twitter. For update, you just have to search this chess word. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you with another interesting video. Thank you.